Before the shadows of the British Empire fell upon its shores, India was no land of poverty. It was one of the wealthiest nations on earth, often called the Golden Sparrow. A global economic powerhouse, a vibrant hub of trade, innovation, and manufacturing. Its share of the world economy hovered near 23%, comparable to the whole of Europe. Dhaka muslin was said to be woven air. Beyond textiles, India forged famed steel and built ships Europe envied. Sophisticated finance and far-reaching trade networks underpinned prosperity. Colonial myths of backwardness were crafted later to justify exploitation. The British arrived as traders, not conquerors. They bowed to Mughal authority, granted coastal factories and enclaves. As the empire waned in the 18th century, a vacuum emerged. The company played prince against prince, treaty, betrayal, annexation. In 1757 at Plassey, treachery and firepower delivered a decisive victory. Mir Jafar was installed and Bengal's riches opened to the company. The mission flipped, not trading with India but ruling and plundering it for shareholders. By the mid-1800s, a private company governed millions, unprecedented in history. Corporate rule proved corrupt and brutal, priming a vast economic drain. A thriving civilization stood at the threshold, and over 2 centuries, its wealth would be systematically unmade. The drain was not mere looting, it was a system woven into governance. Britain skewed trade, forcing British goods in, often duty-free, while taxing Indian exports heavily. For tea, cotton, indigo, they didn't pay in gold or silver. They used Indian tax revenues to buy Indian goods, then shipped them to Britain, creating a one-way flow at zero cost to Britain. Salaries and pensions of officials, in India and London, came from Indian revenues. Even imperial wars, China, Afghanistan, were charged to India's budget. Exchange rates and credit favored British firms, starving Indian enterprise. Punitive tariffs on Indian textiles, British machine-made cloth flooded the market. Millions of artisans were ruined, shipyards and steel also withered. India was forced from exporter of fine cloth to supplier of raw cotton. With industry gutted, cash land taxes crushed farmers, harvest or not. Droughts turned into famines that killed tens of millions. Meanwhile, grain was exported for revenue, profit over lives. This was deindustrialization by design, a continental heist executed with ledgers, laws and taxes over 2 centuries. For years, the scale of the drain was downplayed. Economist Utsa Patnaik analyzed data from 1765 to 1938 with forensic care. Her finding? Britain drained nearly $45 trillion from India. That is over 15 times the UK's annual GDP today. This was capital India could not invest. In factories, schools, hospitals. The same wealth fueled Britain's industrial revolution and living standards. Even railways here were built to extract, financed by India at inflated costs for guaranteed British returns. And 45 trillion counts only money, not lost lives, knowledge, and futures. In 1947, India emerged shattered. GDP share near 3%, literacy under 17, life expectancy 31. A broken industrial base forced a late restart. Today's global inequalities trace back to this extraction. Administrative systems inherited were designed to control, not uplift, and their flaws linger. Lesson 1. Beware unchecked corporate power and rigged rules. Fair trade and national sovereignty are safeguards against new drains. A just order demands honest reckoning and equitable development. For India and the global south, resilience endures, and the rightful place in the world is being rebuilt.